The NYPD is investigating a violent arrest playing out in the streets of New York City. In the video, you can see officers pulling out their batons, beating two suspects repeatedly. That wild melee, you can see one of the suspects actually chase after an officer. Several more officers in plain clothes then rush in to assist, taking the man down. Then more baton strikes while the man is on the ground. A witness who shot the video says the officers were just defending themselves.
Two of them actually lunged at one of the officers, like he went for a tackle.
Police telling ABC News that before that video began, the men were harassing commuters on the stairs of a subway station. They say 36-year-old Aaron Grissom took a swing at one of the officers, and that 37-year-old Sidney Williams attacked when the other officers stepped in.
The individuals involved, not the officers, the individuals involved were creating a real problem for neighborhood residents.
Mayor de Blasio says that he's troubled by what he saw in the video, but says we don't know all the facts. Meanwhile, police say both men have lengthy criminal pasts, including several alleged incidents of assaulting officers.
This is the moment Jamie Claus's family has been waiting for the last 3 months. The 13-year-old girl found alive, safe and sound.
I got a call not even a half an hour after I got home from a news reporter telling me that she heard Jamie was found. And I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't let this be false. It's got to be true.
Authorities say she was found miles away from her home in Barron, Wisconsin, in Gordon, Wisconsin.
I'm feeling very happy, just so emotional that we finally found Jamie after 88 days.
And now Jamie vanished October 15th. Authorities arrived to her home to find that both of her parents had been killed, and they've been searching for her ever since. Volunteers here going on several searches, combing the rural areas here, trying to find any sign of the 13-year-old. But finally, authorities say they got a tip and were able to find Jamie. Authorities say they also arrested a suspect shortly after that. That suspect is now in police custody. At this point, investigators say Jamie is safe. Her family is looking forward to reuniting with her.
I'm just going to tell her how much I love her and missed her and give her the biggest hug ever.
We are here along the border with Mexico. That is the Rio Grande River. At times it gets much lower. So much of the smuggling that we have even witnessed ourselves over the past couple of days, the smuggling of migrants and asylum workers happens right on this river. But it is off this river, hundreds of yards in that direction, that the president hopes to see his barrier, his wall built. And he was down here in the Rio Grande talking with Border Patrol.
All over the world they come in because it's a weak spot. What they need more than anything is the barrier, the wall. Call it whatever you want. Whether it's steel or concrete, you don't care. We need a barrier.
The White House has now directed the Army Corps of Engineers to begin examining and looking at its supplementary emergency plan to see if there's enough money in there to build the wall without additional funding from the government. That is one way that the president could get around Congress and build the wall that he has sought and talked about for so long now. That is obviously something that the Border Patrol here is asking for. They're very encouraged by what they see. But the mayor in this community, McAllen, Texas, says they don't want the wall and they don't need the wall.
If you had some good foreign policy, a different approach than just building a barricade and stopping them, I think that makes more sense.
I'm in downtown Washington, D.C., where the city's oldest synagogue is being physically relocated down the street.
Right now we're moving the Jewish Historical Society Synagogue from G Street to its new location here on F Street. This is where its final location is going to be. Am I nervous? No, more excited. I'm fairly confident that the move's going to be successful, but it's just the anxiety of the work itself. A lot of relief once you land this.
It is so moving when you know the history of the building and the plans for the future of the building. To actually see the physical feat of moving it is extraordinary.
It's not every day you get to see a 200-year-old building move down the street, and it's an important part of history. I think we have to remember our history as much as we can, and so often these buildings just get torn down. But to preserve it and make it part of a museum is really a great effort.